So the previous video was cut off in the middle of this discussion. We continue. This becomes now part C of part 5 of the lecture series on the nuisance candidates. Again, the role of COMELEC in the filing of the certificates of candidacy is ministerial. They must accept the COCs, but this is without prejudice to the subsequent declaration of the persons who filed the COCs as nuisance candidates or their eventual disqualification or not giving the COCs due course. No? So the COMELEC may motu proprio or upon verified petition of an interested party refuse to give due course to or cancel the certificate of candidacy if it is shown that the candidate who is sought to be a nuisance candidate uh, or set to be declared as a nuisance candidate has filed a certificate to put the election process in mockery or disrepute or to cause confusion among the voters by the similarity of the names. Remember this ground later on. Or the other way to do it, be a nuisance candidate is other circumstances or acts which would clearly demonstrate that the candidate has no bona fide intention to run for office for which the certificate of candidacy has been filed and thus prevent a faithful determination of the true will of the electorate. Maybe to cause confusion or to dissipate the votes or to cause confusion by the similarity of names, the candidate can be declared as a nuisance candidate. So there's this case, Martinez versus House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal, describing the first instance of the commission, no, of the act that constitutes a person be declared a nuisance candidate, emphasizing that he is such a candidate who, based on attendant circumstances, has no bona fide intention to run for office, for which the certificate of candidacy has been filed, referring to the second instance, but emphasizing on the first, being that the person's sole purpose being the reduction of the votes of a strong candidate upon expectation that the ballots with only the surname of such candidate will be considered a stray and not counted for either of them. Maybe similarity of names. So yung pangko-confuse lang sa mga botante noon who to vote because perhaps the similarity of names or the dissipation of the votes in effect. In the case of De La Cruz versus Comelec, Santos versus Comelec, cited in the case of Amutan versus Comelec, no, the Supreme Court said that in previous jurisprudence, as to the treatment of votes for nuisance candidates in manual elections, the votes cast for nuisance candidates or for such votes where the intent of the voter cannot be determined on the face of the ballot, such are counted in favor of the legitimate candidate. If no other candidate is has also the same issue, no, but as no other candidate is deemed to have no uh, no not, deemed to have run for the position as the day of the election. No? So, yung candidate lang na legitimate ang counted ang kanyang votes. Those for the nuisance candidate are given to his favor. But going in that to this case of Amutan versus Comelec, Supreme Court said that this is no longer the rule in automated elections in the automated electoral system because the vague votes and those votes that are supposedly counted for the nuisance candidates or cast for the nuisance candidate um, cannot anymore be counted for others of similar names, no? Because or those vague votes because ang electronic voting kasi specific ang nakalagay na pangalan. So what confusion are we talking about? What vagueness are we talking about? When the voter himself shades the circle where the correct spelling of the name and the correct um, you know the correct names of the specific candidates are written in print in the votes themselves that are scanned um, by the automated counting machines, no? So that rule on the benefit of the nuisance votes to the legit candidate no longer applies in the automated electoral system. Um, there's this case of Horilla versus Comelec. This refers to this actor, Anthony Alonso, his name is Anthony Hernandez, who ran for office as councilor. Um, uh, there was a petition seeking to disqualify him simply because of a misspelling or an omission of the precinct number of the barangay. Sabi ng COMELEC, hindi naman siya nuisance candidate simply because there was an omission as to the exact detail of his precinct number and barangay. His certificate of candidacy was not filed with the intent to mock the election process or cause disrepute or mislead the voters. It's just a misindication of the precinct number. In this case of Mustafa versus COMELEC is very interesting because this case, the Supreme Court held na kahit na mababa ang iyong votes from the previous election, you cannot be declared just by that reason as a nuisance candidate. You may have not been popular then, but you may have a chance now. The Supreme Court clarified that the candidate's seriousness to run cannot be measured by the past votes. One may be serious yet lose, or unserious yet win due to the popularity of other factors. So, yung kapasidad o intention ng tao, yung whatever is in his mind and heart, cannot be calibrated actually by the number of votes that is cast for him. This case of Matula versus Comelec, this is the case against the disqualification of Pastor Kiboloy, where the petitioner here alleged that Kiboloy must be disqualified as a nuisance candidate because he only filed the certificate of candidacy to, derail the investigation, because he's facing several cases here and abroad, but this case refers to his case in the Philippines. According to the Supreme Court, dependency of civil or criminal cases and even incarceration awaiting the judgment are not among the grounds in law or jurisprudence to declare one a nuisance candidate. There is need to be a court declaration first. There is a pendency pa eh. No? Without further circumstances and acts establishing private respondents' lack of bona fide intent, petitioner's allegation that private respondents' candidacy is a strategic ploy to evade accountability and obscure the legal challenge he is facing remains unsubstantiated. Can a party list group be declared a nuisance? Well, it's difficult to answer, but one thing you could have to consider is that before a party list group is allowed to run for office or to deploy its candidacy and appoint its representatives, it is vetted by the COMELEC upon its registration. They file a petition for inclusion in the roster of party list groups. So they are vetted already. So they're platforms of government kasi nakalagay doon yan. But we do not discount the fact that while they may have already pre-qualified in a way, COMELEC still has the authority to consider the cancellation of the COC or declare has the power to declare any candidate still as a nuisance candidate. So the matter of lone candidates, what if you're the only person running for the office? What happens? But it depends if it's a regular election or a special election. Because for a regular election, because we follow the first past the post rule or the plurality rule, election must have to be conducted first because you just need one voter for this lone candidate to win. Because you only need one voter for the candidate to win, voters can participate in the election process, but they may opt not to vote for any candidate at all. Posible yan. And it may be there may be a slim chance that still the lone candidate will not get the seat if zero talaga ang makuha niya, but he only needs one candidate. He only needs one candidate. Sorry, he only needs one vote. Okay, he only needs one vote. It's different if it's a special election, because if it's a special election, election must proceed. Sorry, election need not proceed. Okay? Unlike pag regular election, election must proceed. Pag special election, it need not proceed. Upon the expiration of the deadline for the filing of the COC, in a special election, except for elections for the selection of the president and the vice president, and there is only one candidate, the lone candidate shall be proclaimed elected to the position by the proper proclaiming body without even the election. So pwedeng hindi na ituloy yung election. The lone candidate can be proclaimed elected without a single vote being cast, but he cannot assume office earlier than the intended election date. This is very alarming because it speaks of the dominance, no, of some candidates in certain regions and cities and municipalities in the Philippines. Now they remain unopposed, maybe because nobody wants to oppose them because of financial challenges, or maybe because the dominance of the family, the political family, is prevalent in these areas. So look at the statistics. See, from 2016, marami, from the House of Reps to the local officials, so many uncontested or lone candidates. In 2019, still marami. See? And in 2022, again, we'd have the trend. So the reality of being, this is from, um, um, from the Vera files yata, no? But um, we have to consider that this is a dangerous trend because election allows for a choice of representation, but when there are no oppositors, what choice do the voters have? So um, I am hoping that um, this lecture might have helped you in your study. Please view the succeeding videos for the more in-depth discussion on the matter of elections in the Philippines. This is again Attorney Edgar Pascua, your companion to your study of the law. For now, thank you for viewing.